Get me that signal. We need more power.
We're back again with Stephen Buonocore from Stronghold Games. Stephen,
how you doing,
good
Elliott?
to talk to you again.
How you doing, fans?
Very good. I see you have a Revolver.
I have a Revolver in my hand, which is not new here, right? Of course not.
No.
What is new here, we'll put that guy down there for a second. What is new here are 3 new expansions for Revolver that have just come out. They're not even in stores yet, but we brought them over here to put them out for a Gen Con release. Revolver expansion 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5. Last year we came out with 1.1, 1.2, and we're going to continue expanding the Revolver line. It's a really wonderfully thematic 2-player card game. We're having a great time. Each time we bring out one of the expansions, it not only adds new cards, so new possibilities. It's not deck building, it's deck customization.
Right.
So like Magic, you're going to customize your deck a little bit. But also every time we bring out some new mechanics. Here in Vengeance on the Frontier expansion 1.3 adds a Frontier deck to the game. The Frontier deck is a new deck of cards that people can draw from and draw cards to improve their deck instead of drawing from their own deck. So, and then that builds on, each one builds on the next one. You have to have 1.1 and to get 1.2, you have to have 1.3 to do 1.4, 1.5. There's all a little bit of Frontier deck stuff in this, and all a bit of ambush stuff in this. New mechanics for Revolver. So
it's definitely an excellent game. So
thank you very much, and we're going to continue, like I said, expanding that. Revolver 2, which is right over here. Revolver 2 is like the second movie in the game line. Again, this came out at the end of last year, and we're now going to be expanding this one starting in 2014. So, lots of stuff planned in the Revolver universe. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, now over here we have Time and Space. Can you tell me about that?
Absolutely. Time and Space. It's a reimagining of a game from about 5 years ago. It was called Space Dealer, but now this is a completely revamped system. It is literally Space Dealer 2.0. It is so unique. It is an exactly 30-minute timed game where each player also has 2 1-minute sand timers, as you can see there. Everyone, and to take any action in the game, you must flip the sand timer, and once it runs out, then you can do the action that you have elected to do. It's pick up and deliver. And you have to produce goods on your map. So if you're producing blue goods here, you flip the sand timer over, you produce the blue good. And you're going to be delivering it across the map to somebody else. They've got to put up demand tokens so you can do that. They're helping you to do this work, to get the victory points, but they have to do that for them to score victory points. They have to get rid of their demand tokens to score any victory points in a given color, and you have to deliver your good cubes over there to get the demand tokens. So it's a highly interactive, streamlined Euro with all these interesting timer mechanics, 30-minute time game, and 2 1-minute sand timers that take all of your actions.
That is really interesting.
It is. I mean, it's so unique. It plays like nothing else on the market. So I'm very excited about Time and Space.
And now over here we have Vampire Empire.
Vampire Empire.
Oh no, I think we were just...
Those are all the components that you see right here. We have 2 of the games set up right now. In Vampire Empire, which comes with these very cool card sleeves, which you're going to see why in a second. There are 9...
It comes with the card sleeves?
Comes with these card sleeves, these very cool card sleeves. These cards are 2-sided. And it comes with these card sleeves, and I'll tell you why we use these right now. This is a 2-player game. Vampire, the dark-colored cards here, versus the Hunter. There are 9 characters in the city, represented by these cards right here.
Okay.
3 of them are vampires. So at the beginning of the game, the vampire is going to reach into this bag and he's going to draw 3 of these tokens. These 3 characters are now his vampires. They have the bishop, the butler, and the nun. These are the vampires. The human player is going to draw 2. He's going to know about 2 of the guys who are humans. He's not going to tell, neither guy are going to tell the other one about them, the maid and the lord. They're humans. Now, from the city, these cards are going to come out here into play, and these now represent people in the castle. The vampire is going to bluff and throw off the human player, who's the hunter trying to kill the vampires. Now, as we saw a moment ago, the bishop is a vampire, and so is the nun. So 2 of the vampires are already out. He's got to be very cagey right now, because the hunter is going to start trying to kill people. Oh, this is a great setup, and I didn't actually set this up. He knows that the Lord is a human. So the first thing he's going to do, he's going to try to play some of his cards to use the Lord to go kill one of the other two. Now, he doesn't know that these guys are vampires, but he knows that this one's a human. So he's going to try to protect him as much as possible and probably try to kill off one of the guys who could potentially be a vampire. So the game plays basically, it's a very heavy conflicting game, back and forth. Games play very different. You know, in like Revolver, very asymmetrical. If you play as the human, it's a completely different experience than if you play as the vampire. High conflict, bluffing involved on the vampire side, little deduction involved on that side, and conflict of beating people up. Oh, and why do we have the sleeves? Well, when a character is revealed to be a vampire, you turn him over and he looks a little more bloody now all of a sudden. Nice. And he says vampire on there. Sometimes the cards can be shuffled back in via card effects, but of course we know he's a vampire, and if he comes out again, you're going to have a chance to kill him on the next round. So that is Vampire Empire.
And now we're also looking at Voluspa.
Voluspa or Waluspa.
It's kind of weird.
This is a tile-laying game set in the Norse mythology. The usual suspects show up in the game: Odin, Thor, the Valkyries, the Fenra, if you know Norse mythology. Voluspa, by the way, to give you what that means, that is the oldest poem in Norse mythology, which sets the scene for all the gods and the creatures that show up. And most of them are here in the game. As you can see, it's a tile-laying game. It's the way it happens to be showing right now is actually very different than normally. Normally you get lines that extend further out. Lines can be no longer than 7 in any direction. As you can see, this one's kind of building out this way, this building out over there. And you're trying to dominate, have the highest number when you place a tile in the row or the column in which it's being placed. If you do that, you score for the number of tiles in that row or column, or both at the same time. So you can score, up to 14 points, which would be a very high score for one tile play. Well, how is it done? The 8s and the 7s, the Odins and the Thors, obviously are very high-powered tiles, and therefore they're going to win a lot. But every other tile has a special power, and therefore that's why they're very easy. Like Loki, he's only a 1, but when he gets placed, he makes everybody else, that's Loki right there, everybody else around him a 0. So all of a sudden, those tiles are 0, so Loki can score. Now if you take a look all the way that side, those green tiles, those are the Valkyries. When you get a Valkyrie on both sides, you're going to score, it's like sort of they're being taken to Valhalla. So you're going to score for each one of the tiles in that row. So that's a 7-point score when somebody played that Valkyrie way over there, that 2 tiles. And that's how the game plays. It plays very differently when it's playing with 2 players. It's very back and forth and very strategic. With 5 players, a little extra chaos. I kind of like it like that too. But a really beautiful game by the artist who did the art is Piro, who did Lost Temple for me, and he also did Ghost Stories. He does gorgeous portrait art, and there's all portraits in this game. It also comes with a built-in expansion that's never been published before called the Saga of Ida expansion. Fantastic tiling.
Very good.
So, I was at Gen Con, and I was at the Stronghold Games booth, and I forgot to film an ending. So, thank you to Stephen Buonocore and Stronghold Games for talking to me at Gen Con. Look forward to more Stronghold Games goodness in the future. Don't forget to check out my video on Space Cadets Dice Duels, which was a really fun-looking game, and I'll have a review of that soon. Thanks for watching, and keep your mind free.
Get me that 6. We need more pounds.